Hey everyone, Kim here. This is another Mystery Mystic Musings reading surrounding the tragic and savage attack on the four University of Idaho students. Okay, so I want to chat with you all about it a bit further. Now, this is kind of a little backwards. The part that you're going to watch after the little disclaimer part of this video, I recorded that before I recorded this part. I started shuffling the cards and was just like, Spirit, what else can you tell us about this case through the lens of the roommates, through the lens of what information they may or may not know? Okay, so that's what came up here. These are the cards that jumped and landed on the table. So I'll try to be as brief as I possibly can be and as thorough. We got the theft, thief, and robber mouse card sitting next to the lust, affair, temptation, and infidelity. There's this keeps coming up, like someone maybe feeling like someone took something or they have something that belongs to them, and that there's a thievery or a theft as it relates to temptation or lust, and they had to make this right. There was something that needed to be made right, and they are okay with this. They made it okay in their mind. And we've talked about that in the earlier readings I've done. Whistleblower coming forward, truth reveal. I love this card because this is indicating that the truth will be revealed, and that it may be that the one or both of the roommates holds critical information about this situation going on over here. Interestingly enough, burn down, fire, and arson came up. This is about some kind of evidence being destroyed or a knowledge of evidence being destroyed. So that could be what is the truth that is revealed, and also the truth revealed about a certain situation. Now, it may come out later that the police don't find there's any weight to that situation as it relates to the attacks, but they may also be very much curious about evidence being burned. September is of importance, June is of importance, August is of importance. What this is saying is that these months could represent birthdays of individuals involved in this situation. In this attack, it could represent important time periods surrounding the case as it develops, something majorly happening in these months. It also could represent key things happening in the months preceding the attacks, right? The attacks occurred in November, so something as recent as September had kicked off that perhaps the roommates are aware of and familiar with, or have some understanding. Now, jealousy issues and personal. This card came up in another reading we did surrounding this case. Okay, so that card came up. Planned. This was something that wasn't just spontaneous. This was planned. Okay, this wasn't just like, oh, she ticked me off, I'm going to go and hurt everybody. No, this was a planned attack. Large group was interesting to me. I don't know how to take this. Sometimes when messages come through, I don't even know how to swallow or digest it. It could mean that there's some level of more and more people knowing about this planned attack. It could be rumors of some large group knowing of a planned attack, or it could be actually something orchestrated by, more than 3 or 4 people. It could be maybe one main perpetrator who actually did the attack, but that there's people who knew about this and may have even been complicit in this. Pickup truck with travel in it is speaking to that something was moved. They were moved. They drove away. They traveled. Travel, car, vehicle is something that is of importance in this situation. Critical information about the path that the perpetrator traveled before and after. and that information being captured on some surveillance videos, on their cell phone pings, on, you know, trying to think of other ways to capture the markings of where a vehicle has traveled. Days leading up to the attack is what I get a sense of with this card. This also could represent in days we're going to find more information out about something personal and jealousy issues coming about. We may hear more about that, but this is also can speak to days preceding the attack, like critical things happening that relates to personal issues, jealousy issues, the planning also really kicking off into high gear, like someone feeling like they had an opportunity within days because they had critical key information about perhaps when Kaylee was coming back to town or when they all may have been in the house. It's just interesting to me. Interesting. New identity, don't want to be found, fresh start, new life. They don't want to be found. This is not something that, you know, that they're necessarily, you know how like serial killers may be proud of their kills, and I don't know if necessarily these perps or a perp is necessarily proud, but this at the time felt necessary for them to do is what I'm picking up on. We have to be careful because in how this internet sleuths, how everyone is approaching this, because there is someone maybe close to the roommates, and dare I say even the roommates themselves, that may have ideations of taking their life. And that is understandable considering that they could have survivor's guilt, okay? Also, they may know of someone who is saying that they are this, that they are planning to do this. So one or both of the roommates could know about this, and that could really weigh on them and force them to feel a need to reveal the truth of what all they know. And they may have already revealed it days within the investigation. We just aren't privy to it. That could also be what this card is speaking to. Law enforcement may already know. This card came up as well. Intoxicated, drinking, drunk, and alcohol. It came up again in this reading right here. Thought that was interesting. I thought that was very interesting. That I sense that the perp knew that these particular victims were going to be under the influence, therefore not able to really put up a fight or be fully aware of who was coming in and out of the home, etc. So yeah, that's what I got. So now we are going to go into the little disclaimer. I'd like to have that in the video somewhere. And then we're going to go into the actual part that I did another reading, a more in-depth reading surrounding the roommates. And this was inspired by a chat that I was a part of. So you'll hear all about that in just a couple of moments. Thanks for watching. Let's get started. Hey everyone, Kim here, Abundant Life Tarot. So you're looking at this, all my cards are already jumped and on the table, all neat. And how we got here, let me just give you a very, very brief backstory. So I was in the chat of my latest video. It was the cards revisited of the cases of Quentin Simon and then the 4 students from University of Idaho who were stabbed to death. And I was chatting with a couple of my subscribers, and it came up about the roommates of 3, or they call them the survivors of the house where the stabbings occurred. They also are the roommates of 3 of the 4 victims. So the question was asked, and I said, oh, I'll just throw some cards here. Let's just see what cards come up with the roommates. I hadn't even really given them much of a thought when I first did the readings surrounding this case. But I'm like, well, no time like the present. So while I was in the chat, I was shuffling the cards, and these were the cards that came up. And so I kind of relayed that in the chat to my subscribers as we were talking about it. And I wanted to just do a quick little video to go over what came up. Now, again, we are not in the game over here for Mystery Mystic Musings or Mondays to just be blindly accusing folks or to dox people or any of that. That's not what we're trying to do. We're just trying to pick up on the energies to see what was happening, what's going on, and what will be happening. That's what we're doing, okay? So, with all that being said, these are the cards that jump. The first oracle card that jumped was gossip. These two cards jump together, accusations. So there's a lot of gossip and accusations surrounding this case. A lot, way more. I mean, I've now been doing this for a little while now, and some cases really garner a lot more gossip than the other, a lot more accusations. And this would be a case that has topped, out of all the cases I've covered on Mystery Mystic, we'll just call them MMMs. Out of all the MMMs that I've done, this tops it. So there's a lot of gossip and accusations circling around in this case. And there's a lot of gossip and accusations circling around the roommates, since this is what this spread is all about, is the roommates. There's either gossip that they are aware of, or accusations that they're aware of, or accusations and gossip being turned towards them. Okay. The next card was explosive, which kind of took me aback. I was like, oh my God. Explosive. Now, when I look at this like trail here of gossip, accusations, explosive accusations, perhaps, explosive gossip, sure, or something that could blow the lid off of this whole thing, right? With the investigation. Then we had disrespectful. Was the roommates feeling disrespected? Was somebody who was associated with the roommates being disrespected? Or was somebody associated with the roommates of the victims being disrespectful towards the victims? There was something going on. There was a level of disrespect happening over the course of time. And it could have just been over the course of time for that night, or the days and the weeks leading into the night this happened. Interestingly enough, we got lustful. Now, I might need y'all's help on some of these cards, because I'm like, I know some of the case. I've just kind of brushed up in the last couple of days on what's been going on, but it's still a lot that I haven't scratched the surface on in terms of understanding all the nuances of what's been going on. We have temptation. So that's sitting next to lustful. Lustful and temptation. Was there something going on? Something going on. Lust, temptation. And then we have addictions. It could be drugs, it could be sex, it could be anything you can get addicted to, I suppose. Alcohol, addictions. And then it led to some sort of aggression. The alcohol intoxicated card came up in one of their earlier readings, and check out the readings. I have linked all of the videos I've done on this case. I may even make its own little playlist, but for the Idaho 4, and you all can be able to check them out. But there's something going on here with the roommates. It could just simply be that they know something, but I'm not getting a strong sense that they did anything in terms of stabbing. I'll tell you why in a moment. First off, we got the Divine Masculine Oracle card that jumped. So this is speaking to me that the perpetrator who ultimately did the stabbings is someone of the male persuasion. Bounty hunter, chaser, hot pursuit. Maybe this is representing the police being in hot pursuit, getting close to who this person is. It could also represent that this person was hunting them. and they may not have even been aware of it. But again, the hunting stalker thing, sometimes you can be aware that you are being hunted and being watched and being like, there's a lot of aggression coming towards you, and you don't even necessarily pick up on to it. And that could be the case for the victims. All right. That's just that. That could be one or all of the victims, but someone was particularly targeted, and we talked about that in, I think it was part 4 of their readings. That video is a quick video where I say, Kaylee, based on my reading, was perhaps the one that was targeted. So there you go. Take that as you may. Then we asked the question, well, was the roommates involved? So I got the 10 of Swords, and one of my subscribers was like, oh my gosh, that's like the ultimate betrayal card. But if you're looking at this card from like an affirmative or a negative, a yes or a no, and I asked, did the roommates have some direct involvement? And I also, with this card, with this question, I asked about the roommate with the D name, the starting with the letter D, the letter D roommate. There's some sense of betrayal tied to this. This could just be simply her feeling like she has survivor's guilt. That could be something that's going on with her now and will be going on for a long time. Or it could be something deeper and something more. If you look here, it says no. So in terms of directly causing the harm, that would be no for the roommates. Do they have information? Is what I then was like, do they have information? Do they know? So that was my next question. We got the Sun. They probably do. They have some clarity or something, some understanding of who may be involved, why this happened, and what's going on. Who are the players? They may know. And what was interesting to me was we got, I forgot what question I asked. Now I have to look at the chat. But I was like, you know, did the person with, I guess the person's name starting with B, if this person had any involvement, and we got 2 reverse cards. But what was also interesting to me is that the cards are also double speaking. And we have the reverse 9 of Wands and the reversed 7 of Wands. What's interesting to me, the 9s are associated with the letters Q and R. 7 is associated with the letters M and N. So somebody who could have did this attack on the roommates and is known, or possibly the roommates know of, could have those letters either in their names or as initials to their names. This is about struggle, being overwhelmed, on the edge, defensive, paranoid, exhausted. This was a real battle as well, this attack. This card is also in reverse, indicating exhaustion, destroyed, overwhelmed, overly protective. Overly protective of what? Information. Then the question came up by my subscriber, well, was what the neighbor said about the door being wide open, is there any truth to that? We got the 2 of Wands, and instantly I got a yes to that, even just looking at the image. But there's an affirmative of yes, but I got the image in the feel of, yeah, this door was open. And the reason what prompted her to ask that question was I mentioned these cards that jumped while I was on the chat, shuffling and chatting with them. We got Chalice, Key, and Ear. A lot of people were wondering, why didn't the roommates hear this attack? Why didn't they hear it? Could their earbuds be in, blocking out the sound because they have their music blaring and they forgot to take the earbuds out? Are they that hard of sleepers? Is it that soundproof in the home? Or is there something else going on, allegedly? And I'm wondering about that something else. Chalice is about relationships. Love, relationships. Okay. The key could be about, being the key to the case, knowing the information. Okay. Knowing the information. The key is also associated with maybe freedom or imprisonment or a concern thereof, or the ability to lock someone in and to unlock someone in, and having knowledge of information about a lock or a key. Unlocking something. One of the key phrases to the key card is, interestingly enough, in the guidebook, resolving a mystery. So one of the two, if not both roommates, hold the key to understanding who may have done this. Like they may have seen that vehicle. Got to pull out my wand. There's that vehicle card that jumped again. It was the first card that jumped as I was shuffling with this deck, thinking about this case again with the roommates. And I thought, uh-oh, they've been talking about a white Elantra. This card came up before in, let me see. Can you see it all the way over there? This card came up before in the earlier readings I did. I think it was part 2 or part 3. Pretty sure it's part 3. And I was like, uh-oh. They know something. They might have known who drives that car. They may have seen the car in the area, or they, and this person could have been in the home before. Hence why the dog didn't necessarily rouse or bark or do anything that would draw attention to maybe the neighbors. Like, because I don't even think the neighbors, I don't know, and you all could let me know this in the comment section, if the neighbors heard the dog bark. From all accounts I've heard, there was no dog barking. They hold the key. This is also one of the key phrases to this. Key phrases. But one of the phrases is to keep something safe. What are they keeping safe? Someone they care about. Some information of knowledge about something or someone they care about. Allegedly. The ear card was interesting to me because it was funny that it jumped and came up, because I'm like, why didn't they hear anything? What was going on? Being aware of situations is one of the key phrases that goes with the ear card in the guidebook. So being aware of knowing what was going on here, knowing some of the players, which I find quite interesting. Maybe hearing certain things and just turning a blind ear, not a blind eye, a blind ear. Let's see. Listening to others. Somebody listening to others. Keeping an ear out. Being an earshot. Now again, you know what? I want to also mention something to you all. There is a lot of rumors going around. So sometimes what mediums and psychics, including yours truly, I'm a tarot reader, a card reader as well, just oracle cards as well. Sometimes what we're picking up on is the energies of the rumors and the big rumors that are going around. So I just have to say that. But I find it interesting that this card came up. Because to me, it's like they had the ability to hear things and then they just chose not to. It's like the see no evil, hear no evil, speak no evil. You know, the little monkey that covers their ears, eyes, and mouth. to protect something that they love and value. And somebody with these initials, this is critical information here. I suppose if you want to look at, I don't know their last names, and that's probably best. But all of the the minors, the numbered cards, and even some of the courts, with the exception of the kings, can be tied to letters of the alphabet, representing names or initials or streets or cities or states or anything like that. It could be tied to information. So we can explore that a bit further. I may in the comments just kind of leave the letters that are associated with these cards, not the major, not the sun, but these cards. I'll leave that there. I'm just going to share a few more things before we wrap up. I didn't want this, of course I always say that, I didn't want this video to be too long, but here we are. We have surveillance cameras may provide important clues that came up again and again and again throughout all the readings. So critical information on there that captured what? The vehicle. Interestingly enough, the evidence fire card came up. Why would it come up in the roommates' readings? Are they aware of some evidence being destroyed related to the vehicle? Are they aware of that, allegedly? We also have the lawyer card that came up again. Are they lawyered up? Or is someone close to them going to get lawyered up? Are they, tied to the law, whether through education or through family or friends, connects, etc.? House. They were a part of the house. I thought that was so interesting that card jumped. And black hair color. That card keeps coming up over and over again throughout the readings. News media. Lots of things being said in the media. Lots of things being said in the news about this case. And perhaps we're going to start hearing a bit more about either how the police are excluding them from having a direct involvement in the actual attack, and maybe even more, maybe the news, because we have the police card, or maybe we're going to hear more about their level of involvement. But I thought that was interesting, this news media card. Also, we're going to hear more about news about someone or something being moved, related to moving. Human trafficking is not just about how we think of human trafficking. It can also literally be like a person being moved from one place to another. It could be even the perp moving from one place to the other. Police. And the police have been stated to have said that they don't believe that these persons are involved. At any point, though, they also said that they could re-interview people who may potentially, if new evidence comes about, that they could re-interview. And again, I'm not saying that these roommates actually did anything, like in terms of the attack, but I do sense that they have some key information. There's someone missing in terms of either something happened to somebody before and they're aware of it, or there's someone who hasn't been talked about yet, a person who may be a person of interest or a suspect that is either not known to the police just yet or just known to them, but there's something that the public doesn't know about, a missing person. That's interesting to me. Y'all have to let me know your thoughts on that. It says the killer may have an item belonging to the victim. This card jumped as well as I was shuffling cards during the chat. This card came up again. This case will remain unsolved until key evidence is discovered. That doesn't mean it's going to remain unsolved like forever, by the way. It's just key evidence. There's key evidence having to link all the players together. But somebody's being burdened and very soon will start to feel the pressure to talk. It is not just survivor's guilt, but there's a guilt of a sense of betraying someone with this 10 of Swords here. And the 10 of Swords came up with Zana, was it? I'll have to look at her spread again. There's a connection there as well. Okay, killer is a predator who tracks a specific type of victim. I didn't know what to think of that, but I'll sit with that some more as I do. I'm going to take a picture of this spread, you know how I do, and keep it in my little file folder of all the pics that I take of these cases. I definitely want to hear your thoughts about what do you think about the roommates? What do you think about, you know, why they may not have heard something? Do you think they know more than what has been said or shared? Do you think they just, I mean, again, everybody's innocent until proven guilty, including them. I mean, if nothing else, they've been through something very traumatic. To be in that house where that terrible, savage attack occurred is going to haunt these roommates for probably the rest of their life. So that I just want to say, and we want to be respectful of that in the comment section. But my peeps are always super respectful, and I thank you for that. I thank you for sharing your thoughts, your intuitive hits, your theories in such a beautiful and respectful and insightful way. Thank you. Please, on your way out, hit the like button for me, because this is probably going to be my last Mystery Mystic Musings video until sometime mid to late January. I'm just taking a little break off of them, just a little one. You know, I can't stay away too long, so it would help me out for this series if you would be so kind as to hit the like button and to subscribe. I am trying my best to get to 4,000 subscribers. It's a personal little goal of mine. So if you haven't already subscribed, please do so. I will still be around on the channel. I just will be taking a quick break on Mystery Mystic Musings, so don't worry. I'll be around. I'm just taking a break on this series, like shows do. Like my favorite Law and Order, SVU. They sometimes take a break for a bit and then they come back. All right, friends, take very good care of yourselves. I will see you all around, and bye for now.